It was raining that morning, the kind of heavy, unrelenting rain that turns the city into a blurred painting behind streaked glass. I remember pressing my palm to the window of the taxi, feeling the vibration of traffic beneath my hand, and wondering if I had already made a mistake. Cole Enterprises wasn't just any company. It was a fortress, steel, glass, and power woven into one, and at the heart of it was Adrian Cole, the man everyone whispered about but never approached unless they had no choice. I'd heard the rumors. He didn't smile, didn't date, didn't tolerate mistakes. Some even called him the Ice King. And now, I was about to work for him. The elevator ride to the top floor was silent except for the low hum of machinery. I straightened my blouse, clutched my portfolio tighter, and tried not to think about how my hair was still damp from the rain. When the doors opened, the first thing I noticed was the quiet. No chatter, no ringing phones, just the soft click of my heels against marble as I walked toward the boardroom. I was late. The door opened to reveal a long table surrounded by executives, all focused on the man at the head. He didn't glance up right away. He was flipping through a file, every movement precise. Then his eyes lifted, and I froze. Dark gray, cold, assessing, and far too intense for comfort. "You're late," he said. The words were simple, but the weight in them made my skin prickle. "I'm sorry, Mr. Cole," I said, forcing my voice to stay even. "Traffic." "Traffic," he repeated, as if it were a personal insult. "You'll find I have no patience for excuses." I wanted to shrink under that gaze, but something in me wouldn't allow it. Instead, I walked to the far end of the table, set my portfolio down, and sat without another word. The meeting resumed, his voice low and commanding as he dismantled a marketing proposal with surgical precision. The presenter looked ready to faint by the time he was done. "This campaign is a waste of time," Adrian concluded. "We'll scrap it and start over." One of the senior managers cleared his throat nervously. "With respect, sir, it has potential." "Potential without precision is useless," Adrian cut in. I don't know what possessed me, but the words left my mouth before I could stop them. Or without courage. Every head turned toward me. His eyes narrowed. "Excuse me." I met his gaze. "You talk about winning as if it's only about numbers and calculations. But people don't fall in love with numbers, Mr. Cole. They fall in love with stories. Sometimes you have to take a risk for something truly great." A murmur swept through the room. He didn't speak for a moment, just studied me, the way a chess player studies the board before making a decisive move. Finally, he said, "Marcus, clear my 9 o'clock tomorrow. I want a private meeting with Ms. Hart." My heart skipped. "I'll be there," I replied. When the meeting ended, I gathered my things and walked out without looking back, but I could feel his gaze following me all the way to the elevator. The next morning, I stood outside his office at exactly 9 o'clock. Marcus, his assistant, gave me a look somewhere between sympathy and curiosity before ushering me in. The office was enormous, all glass and steel, with the skyline stretched out behind him like a painting. Adrian sat behind his desk, pen in hand, but his eyes were already on me. "Sit," he said. I did, crossing my legs and keeping my expression neutral. "You challenged me in front of my team yesterday," he began. "Not many people do that and keep their job." I swallowed. Do I still have mine? For the first time, there was the faintest ghost of a smile. "For now, I'm curious to see if you can back up your words." So I did. For the next hour, I walked him through my vision, bold, unorthodox, risky. He didn't interrupt much, but when he did, his questions were sharp, forcing me to think faster. And beneath the cold exterior, I caught flashes of something else. Interest. When I finished, he leaned back, steepling his fingers. "You're either reckless or brilliant. Time will tell which." "Maybe both," I said before I could stop myself. His eyes darkened slightly, and for a heartbeat, the air between us shifted, thicker, charged. I looked away first. Over the next few weeks, we clashed constantly. He would tear apart my ideas. I would defend them with stubbornness I didn't know I had. Somewhere in the middle of the arguments, something began to change. One night, I was working late, trying to fix a presentation after a sabotage attempt from a rival firm. The office was quiet, lights dimmed, when I heard the click of the door. "You're still here," he said, stepping inside. "So are you," I replied without looking up. He walked over, setting a cup of coffee beside me. "You'll burn yourself out." I glanced at him, surprised. "Since when do you care?" His gaze softened, almost imperceptibly. "Since you started making me." For a moment, neither of us spoke. The silence was warm, not cold. When he reached for a paper on my desk, our fingers brushed, and I felt it like a spark running straight to my chest. I didn't pull away, neither did he. The city lights reflected in his eyes as he leaned in, close enough for me to feel the faint warmth of his breath. "You're dangerous, Elena," he murmured. "People who get close to me get burned." "Maybe I'm not afraid of fire," I whispered. And then he kissed me, slow at first, as if testing the waters, then deeper, more certain. My heart raced, my hands gripping the edge of the desk to keep from pulling him closer. When we finally broke apart, my pulse was still hammering. He stepped back first. "Go home, get some rest." I left the office that night with my lips tingling and my mind in chaos.